some stories from other change makers designed to motivate you to become the change you want to see in your world. Make sure you join our Changemakers community at runemagnus.com/podcast. And now it is time for you to sit back, relax, and enjoy. Welcome everyone to my live session with one of my change makers, Gido Schimanski, who is coming to us from Germany. You're in Germany right now, aren't you?
I am indeed, yes.
Yeah, I was just thinking about before I said that he might be somewhere else. We didn't go over that, but because I know you're all over the place. So I know that you are all over the place. So welcome, Gido, to this live session where I just had to get you on board. Not only because you're gorgeous, because, well, I admit it had a big impact. But anyway, it was not only because of that. It was also because I know that you are a paradigm shifter. And I know that you have just magical thing about how you work with people, high achievers in this world. And I know it myself, I've been so privileged to have had you helping me on issues that I had to deal with, which I'm going to go into a little bit later. But I just thought I have to get Gido to spend a little time with me and the peeps that are going to be with us live and the other people that can hopefully listen to us later on when we have the recordings. And when you came up with the idea of what the topic that we wanted to have today, the magic of enjoying who you are, I thought that is just amazing. And that is so much Gido. Can you tell us, how on earth did you come up with this topic?
First of all, I'm very excited to be here myself. Just, you know how much I love you and how much I love speaking with you. And there's always something exciting happening when we two communicate. The topic, when you asked me to join you, of course, that was a heartfelt yes, whatever we talk about. And then when we said, what are we going to share? That title just fell into my head. That often happens. So that's just a thought popping up. And if I go with that first gut feeling, I know usually it proves to be a good thing to go there. Let's put it that way. For me, the magic of enjoying who you are is that moment when people realize that they actually have everything in place, that they're usually far more extraordinary than who they truly are. You know, for me, it's that moment when you are at peace with yourself and accept yourself fully. Now, when I say that, most people usually go, when you say, well, you have to accept yourself, they go instantly to, well, I have to accept that I'm not good enough. I have to accept that I might have imperfections. I have to accept that I do mistakes. And although that's very important, I even want to take you to the other side. And I think it's even more important to say, accept how magnificent you are. And I'm not choosing this word lightly, accept all the talents you have, the qualities you have, what you can do in life. And I think people struggle far more with accepting their extraordinary skills than accepting their imperfections. And when that falls into place, for me, real magic happens. And there's also something that I call the myth of I'll be happy when. I'm doing quotation marks that you can't see here. And it's that moment when you say, well, I will be happy when I have that partner. I will be happy when I have my body the way I want it to be. I will be happy when I have that $1 million deal. I will be happy when I perform to, 70,000 people. I will be happy when. Now, the truth is that happiness will never come because there will always be a gap from where you are to where you want to be until you allow yourself to be happy. Some people use that as a drive in order to achieve their goals, and that might be a good drive. But I realized with all the high achievers, let it be in the entertainment industry, let it be athletes, let it be people in the corporate world, that if they haven't dealt with, let's say, their topics in life, and they suddenly deal with a lot of pressure, a big image they have to project, and they're still struggling with feeling good about themselves, the gap is massive. And I always say, my job is to close the gap between the image you project and how you really feel inside, so you can enjoy who you truly are and operate from there. So learn how to be happy before in the process. So when you get there, first of all, you be happy along the way. And when you get there, you can truly enjoy what you've worked for. And that for me is the magic of enjoying who you truly are.
Yeah, I like how you put that into words. Then it's interesting. I think when you're saying this, and now that I know that you work with high achievers and you work with leaders, you work with people that have, like we said, made it all the way. And so you were working with people who have that mindset, a high achieving mindsets, and that most people, I think, are then projecting that because they have it all, they should not really be dealing with this issue.
Yes, and that's the big misconception, because again, they come from the place of, I'll be happy when I have what he has. I'll be happy when I be that leading man. I'll be happy when I play the champion leagues. I'll be happy when I am the CEO or run my successful company. Not seeing that often those people deal with the same issues. So for me, you have to start at core, and that will usually accelerate your successes. Now, I I always say my niche are the high achievers, because I understand that mindset quite well. Let me put it this way. I think high achievers are, people often think they shouldn't have any problems or they won't have any problems. And it's not that they also have those problems. If they haven't dealt with their topics, with their life issues, or with those areas where they might not feel so good about themselves, their problems often are much bigger than when you're starting out, simply because, as I said before, the gap gets wider and wider and wider. And they keep thinking, well, I will be happy once I get there. Mm-hmm. So understanding the high achieving mindset, they usually already know how to achieve a goal. They have proven over and over again. They have a track record of success, what things to put in place to get somewhere. They very often just forget themselves in the process. So for me, I often explain it, if you remember when I was a kid, we had these little styrofoam airplanes. They would come in a tiny little flat pack, and you would unwrap them and you would stick them together, put a little propeller in the front, and then you put a rubber band to it. And you would pull them and pull them and pull them and pull them. And then once you let them go, it's like you're unhooking those rubber bands. That's where I always take this analogy from. And I think a high achiever already knows the way where he's going, but very often he's just being held back by some glass ceiling that tells him that is how much you can achieve. That is how much happiness you're allowed to have. That is how much health you're allowed to have. And we all have a glass ceiling. Even the highest of the high achievers have a glass ceiling. And the moment we reach a new level of success, usually we bump up to the next lid. And so they already know how to go there. So my job is only to unhook the rubber bands. And then things happen like, I just had an email through from a client yesterday saying, I'm not sure what we did and how you did it, but suddenly I can enjoy what I'm doing and I feel calmer. It's better for my health. And I seem to be more successful, although I seem like I'm doing less. And then I know, okay, we've done a good job. Does that make sense?
Makes perfect sense to me, especially because, and I can easily share that because I've experienced this myself with you on a topic that I asked you to help me with, where I really felt there was something that wasn't really aligned with me, but I couldn't really pinpoint it, even though, I'm in this industry myself, even though, my expertise is to help people to identify their X factor, the personal brand, and really, lead their life and how leaders can tap more into their own strengths and what I call it X factor, and how they can basically engage more with their employees and all of that. I'm there, but still, even though I'm there, I felt there was a missing piece inside me that I just did not know how to pull together. And it was working with you on that, really gave me completely new, how should I say it? It was just completely new mindset of my own of what is possible and how much of those things that are holding us back for whatever it is so deep inside of us that we can't really get to it without having a really, really good help, which you come along and you helped. And I remembered that session so well because afterwards I just felt so free. I felt like liberated. And I've been telling people about the whole, what happened, what it was all about, and how we did it, and all of that. But still, I'm like, how did you really do that? How did you really manage to align me so well so that I could basically have the freedom to go out there and do what I'm doing now with collecting the change makers and to help other leaders to catapult the change that they want to have in their lives. So you have to explain this a little bit for me.
Well,
what are you doing?
To explain what I do is, on one hand, it's very simple, and on the other hand, it's a little bit of the magic of enjoying who I am. If you say you were talking about the missing piece that you yourself couldn't find. Mm-hmm. And if you imagine when we grow up as little children, we come into this world, and I like to use an analogy that Bruce Lipton, that I heard from him at the first time. And he said, we come to this world, and it's almost like let's take the analogy of a computer. You're an empty computer, and that needs an operating system. And so the operating system can then decide later on which programs are working on the computer, which is good and which isn't good. Now imagine a child comes into this world, and it's like this empty computer, and it needs an operating system because it can't decipher what is good and what isn't good. So it learns, it absorbs from its surroundings, its teachers, its preachers, family. And it's not so much, it is of course what he or she hears, but it's also, the child is literally just absorbing the surroundings, and it watches, this is how relationships work, and then goes a program, and this is how money works, and then goes a filter, and this is what happens when you're 50, and all the women in my family have that going on when they're 60, and and so in goes a filter, another filter, and another filter. And Anais Nin said so beautifully, we don't see the world how the world is, we see the world how we are, because we now look out of these filters. And of course, there's good filters, and there is, I would like to call them unsupportive filters that are not supporting us in our magnificence, in our purpose, in where we want to go. And now we have these filters on, and according to these filters, that is our operating system. That is now filtering out what we let go in. So we might have all the opportunities of the world around us, but we only can see those that are already resonating with our already existing filters, our belief system. Now, my job is only to take a few of the programs out and open up the door so you can see more of the opportunities. So I like to call it, I'm looking at your beliefs, and then I look under the belief, under the belief, under the belief, under the belief, under that belief that you might picked up a long time ago that your system holds in order to keep you safe. Imagine a little girl is in the first class in school, and for the first time it comes home with an A, with the best note in the class, and it comes home and says, Mama, I was the best in school. And the little girl doesn't know that 10 minutes before that, the brother came home being the worst in class. Mm-hmm. And the mother just thinks for a second, oh my God, that's not good. If he hears that, it's going to crush his heart. And so the girl just sees worry rush over the mom's face. And it just takes in a program, it could be that it takes in a program going, okay, I should be successful, but I shouldn't brag about it. I shouldn't outshine anyone. Otherwise, my mom worries, my brother will feel bad. And in goes a program that a lot of high achievers have. I shouldn't outshine anyone. So they have these magnificent positions, and then they're trying to put themselves down because it's going to cause stress. Now, that pattern, that paradigm is in place to keep you safe. It's a good thing, because if you would go there to do, work against your pattern, you would hurt mom, you would hurt your brother, but your system doesn't understand that it might be now 30 years later. Mm-hmm. And your brother might be very successful or not, but that has nothing to do with the little girl's life anymore. So since that is in place to keep you safe, looking at yourself is not possible, because a friend of mine always explained it this way. She said, it's like you're watching TV like this. You're too close to the picture. You can't see, because the pattern that is in place is the very pattern that will try to prevent you solving it. Because when you solve it, you're going to hurt.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
you need an outside coach. That is why I believe so much in coaching. You need an outside person that just understands your mindset. And that I do with the high achievers, that you understand the mindset and just understands the root, where might be the link that holds you back from feeling good about yourself when you do what you do. Mm-hmm. And then you twist that key and everything else falls into place. That's why it feels like magic, because we twist the first key and all the other keys just dissolve, all the other steps. And then you find the next one and the next one. And then very often you get to a place where you find out that you hold a belief and you go, I can't believe I'm actually having that in my system. And then you bring another belief up and you go, I can't believe I'm holding that in my system. And the worst thing is, suddenly these two beliefs are completely contradicting each other. And the brain can't deal with contradiction. So it will find a new solution. And that's why a lot of the other tools that are needed to use, we don't need anymore, because you now have an open door to see more opportunities and to accept and enjoy who you truly are, and not having to hold yourself back because your mom or your brother might hurt 30 years ago.
Yeah.
That's in a nutshell trying, to explain the mechanics. Of course, there's much more to that, but we would be here for a 3-week course.
And that's a good idea, but I'm not... Maybe later on, okay?
Maybe later on, yeah.
Maybe later on. I would like to take you up on that one. Now, the intention with this live call tonight is really for me to introduce you to the world as one of my change makers, and the concept of change makers, which I believe this world is really screaming for, is to help people, help leaders that want to create positive change in their environment. They need your expertise and the other expertise that our change makers have. But I'm interested to hear from you, what does it mean for you to be a change maker?
On one hand, to be an example, to lead by example, because I've been through this work. I've experienced it firsthand, what it feels like to constantly hit your head against the same wall where everybody else thinks you're incredibly successful and you think, can't you see I'm actually, when will you find out I'm not that good? On the other hand, being a change maker for me means being able to help and impact people who have an opportunity to impact even more people. So working with the true leaders in the world, and the influencers, how we call some nowadays. If I talk about people in the entertainment industry, if I think, they're often standing on stage performing to 70,000 people a night. Yeah. And to experience when they come more into a place of self-acceptance, self-love, peace within themselves. I know, I've seen how much more of that they project and pass on to their fans, rather than when you're full of self-loathing and thinking I shouldn't be here, I can't do this, and you get off stage and you knock yourself down with vodka and cocaine or whatever. Of course, it's very stereotyping now. Then that has an impact on your following as well. And so I believe impacting the true leaders, if I can help them accept themselves more, my hope is they will impact a bigger following as well.
And that's how the ripple effect.
Exactly. So that we can make change.
Make change, exactly. I see that we are on our 20 minutes right now, that was our goal, wasn't it?
Okay.
To put this into 20 minutes thing. It's been hugely insightful for me, and I can see from the comments that we have on Facebook that people are loving this as well. So thank you everyone who has been with us on the Facebook Live event. Feel free to share this video to your network, because I think what you've been sharing with us, Gido, is something that no matter how high achiever you are in your own mind, what you just shared is something that I think we all need to think about. And are we really still at the age of maybe 50, 60, are we still trying to fit into the family picture that we grew up with? is that really holding us back or not?
Yeah.
And I think we all can find some truth in that for each and every one of us, just thinking back on things and what really drives me forward. Is really, am I still trying to prove something to my brother or whatever, whatever it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So from that, I truly like to thank you for spending time with me tonight. And for anyone that is listening to this, either right now as we're live or on this recording, I invite you to go to the website where the Changemakers are going to be in the future. We're going to launch on November 17th with a podcast and introducing the whole team. But if you go to the website, runamagnus.com, you can actually get a little, there's a little button there where you can put in your name and an email address so that you know when the podcast is out. And Gido, I also know that you have a website where you do offer some free coaching, don't you?
Well, there's a free trance experience on there. I work a lot with trance states, not in all my sessions, but people seem to love taking recordings away. And if you go to the website, you will find a little floating bar below where you say, get your free trance or download or something like this. And you can download a free trance experience. That's just on gidoschimanski.com or creativehighAchievers.com will get you there as well.
Okay, excellent. So from that, I think we're going to say bless, bless, like we say over here in Iceland, and in German you say
Auf Wiedersehen, bis bald.
Okay. Auf Wiedersehen.
Yeah, that doesn't feel as heartfelt as bless, bless, does it?
No,
but it comes from the heart. I hope I see you soon.
I will see you very soon, and I can't wait to hear more and do more things with you in the future, Gido. It's bye-bye from us over here. Thank you so much for joining us, and wish you a pleasant evening. If so, feel free to share the love and give us your generous review on iTunes, Stitcher or Spotify. And remember, you can always go to runamagnus.com and find out more about the Changemakers and how we can help you driving the change you want to see in your world.